Kanpai! Welcome, one and all, to episode 111 of Kanpai Cast. It's our 111th birthday, and it seems like a perfect time to talk about the hero's
our
journey.
11st birthday.
What? Hey, talk up, Sonny! What?
Shut up. Great big goober.
Yep.
Anyway, before we get into our topic, just a little bit of housekeeping, which is the usual. We're going to ask you, join the Discord, regular chat, memes, good old anime vibe. You know, the links are all in the description. Every week, you can submit memes on our meme submission sections and join Xeno's Patreon so you can ask us questions for the question section. And
I've also posted a spreadsheet containing our... Sorry, go ahead, man.
I have a question. Like, didn't we just start something recently about, like, you know, like top anime, or someone started something recently about top anime OPs and endings and things like that?
Dude, that has been a thread forever. It's just that threads close after like 3 days.
Right. But, no, this is a forum post, isn't it?
yes,
But
they go
regardless,
away, then
like,
hide themselves.
I swear to love of God, like, I turned away and I was like, where have all these fucking come from? There's like a gajillion here.
Yeah,
right?
Evan
If you look at the posting times, some of them have been on there for literally like a month, 2 months, 3 months.
I need to...
Since now they started it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have sections for posting your favourite anime openings and endings. Join the waifu discussions. You know, it's all for the anime. And as I said, every week you can make submissions to us either as questions from a patron or into our meme section. We include up to 6 memes every week from you, the viewers. So get on in there, have a good time.
I've also.
Do we need to mention our faux pas from last week as well?
Ooh, okay,
right.
Go on.
So really minor thing. Last week we did a fucky wucky. During the actual episode recording, we were like, "How many viewer memes do we have?" Only 1. We didn't. We had fucking 5. And Nasuth and I only discovered this after Thaylien had clocked off for the night, and it was like shit. So we announced it on the Discord.
Xeno's built something in so that never happens again.
Yes, so now it tells us which ones are updated and which ones aren't, so we don't have to rely on third parties to just give us the number. We have the number. To be
clear, the only reason we rely on a third party in the first place is because we want to be surprised by them, so they're doing us a favor.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Them for
massively, yeah.
Shout out to our wonderful meme reviewer who is actually making sure that we stay honest with this.
Yeah.
Still,
one other thing.
Virgil.
Yes, thank you, Virgil. One other thing, I also posted in the Discord a spreadsheet keeping track of our ratings for the last season, so that if people want to look back and be like, "Oh, I see, this is what they picked. Now I remember," without having to go watch the whole episode again. Although you should just go watch the whole episode again.
Please, we're hilarious. Speaking of one
people
more
that say that after aren't. It's not a good form. It's not good etiquette to say like we're funny. It's like
we're
typically that people that say that.
Every single person watching this will see me say that and know that we're not. So,
that was your aim. Okay, fine.
One last little thing that Xeno wanted to include is that we are testing a new little back-end feature to make our lives a bit easier, and so that you guys watching can see a few more things on your screen while we're watching. Okay? And it's a thing for our scrolling backgrounds and things that we do while we're talking about content. And for example, say we want to talk about mech anime, we can click a button and bring up all the mech anime. Normally this wouldn't really matter to you, but because it's still in the testing phase, you may see some things that are classed in the wrong section. Last time we tested it, we tried doing the Isekai section, and Gundam popped up, which I'm not sure if Gundam was ever an Isekai. And
not
I'm
Gundam
scared.
Wing, for sure.
Oh yeah. So I would be surprised if Gundam Wing was an Isekai.
Yeah.
What was my joke?
The protagonist is absolutely dead.
Hero blew himself up. He actually got sent to another world.
Oh my.
Yes, exactly. But so you might notice on our backgrounds as we're chatting, some things that don't quite fit with the genre pop up. So we apologize for those, but we're still testing this. And point out one if you see it. We can then have it reclassified or similar. We can have that as a check.
Or you can mock us.
Yep.
Yes, you can.
Mock us in the comments.
Definitely hilarious.
Yep.
Anyway. Yes.
Like, comment, and mock us.
So, absolutely. Like, comment, subscribe, mock us in the comments because we probably deserve it. All right. So we're good? I think we can...
Yeah.
So this topic is kind of my silliness. I thought that it's been a long time since the hero's journey as a topic came up. I think it was episode 5, and I wasn't here. This space was occupied by MDR Laws, and he probably did a much better job of it than I'm going to. But in that situation, we used it for our talk about protagonists. And in this time, we are going to be talking about the hero's journey as a story, as a narrative device, and why so many things get it wrong. Why isekai, for example, it can be so bad for ignoring the format and ignoring the good advice that you can learn from this as a narrative device. So I've got a little bit of a thing of what is the hero's journey. And a lovely resource called Arc Studio decided to do a quick summary of this, and I'm going to crib off them because it's a lot faster than my usual diatribes. The hero's journey was first kind of coined back in 1871, believe it or not.
Really?
By anthropologist Edward Tyler. He analysed the protagonists from fiction throughout the history that he knew, and concluded that pretty much all the heroes and their adventures were essentially comparable. Okay? And it was built on things, the literary philosophers like Vladimir Prop, Carl Jung, and Joseph Campbell since have all gone into it to check and see if he's actually, bullshitting us. Turns out he's right. From great myths of Homer's Iliad to Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, the hero's journey begins, progresses, and ends in very much the same way. Okay? And it doesn't seem to matter really what genre you're putting into, because there are some amazing parallels you can draw in almost any genre. So the other narrative device is, of course, what plots you include in it. That's how you really make a hero's journey a hero's journey. And great book by Christopher Booker called The 7 Basic Plots. Pick this one up, because in every hero story, anything with a main protagonist that you want to follow, there's 7 basic plots you can follow, from overcoming the monster, rags to riches, a quest, the voyage and return, a comedy, a tragedy, or even the rebirth concept, where the main character is forced to change their ways and become a better person. So, and these can be, you'll get all sorts in different adventure stories. So, overcoming the monster, we've seen Perseus, Theseus, Star Wars, Harry Potter. Rags to riches could be Cinderella or Aladdin, or it could be David Copperfield or Great Expectations. The Quest, Lord of the Rings. The Iliad I already mentioned. It can be Watership Down or Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Voyage and Return, again, we pick up more of the modern stuff with Alice in Wonderland, The Hobbit, Peter Pan, Gulliver's Travels, Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Then you've got the comedy and tragedy, where you can pick up things like A Midsummer Night's Dream or Much Ado About Nothing, maybe The Big Lebowski for comedy. Tragedy can be anything from Hamlet to The Great Gatsby, Romeo and Juliet to Julius Caesar and Macbeth. Great stories all.
Well, everyone knows the Shakespearean tragedies, obviously.
Yes. And rebirth can be everything from Crime and Punishment to The Frog Prince to Groundhog Day. Okay? Where you start off with a terrible person and finish up with a good one. Ish. So by putting them together into the different acts of a story, the 3-act story that we classically know, you can create some marvelous stories. So the hero's journey always has to start with a hero that you can follow, with an introduction, a plot point that starts it all off in Act 1. Long or short, there's always one point that will start their adventure. Then you have the second act, which is almost always the confrontation as the adventure kicks in. And you'll then finish that off as the stakes get higher and higher with some kind of point that makes the conflict they're about to go into important. And Act 3, we hear it all the time in trope analysis, the third act tragedy. And that's where they confront something, suffer a loss of some kind, and in the fallout have to discover something new or really realize something that they've been told all along as, true, and resolve the story. And we've frequently seen these. The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings all have these kind of things. They're big epic stories. But an example, it doesn't have to be an adventure. A great example would be the movie Lion. Now, Lion was about an Indian boy who was adopted as a child by a middle-class Australian family, his new parents. And he spends the movie searching for what happened to his birth family. He does it in secret because he is guilty about how his new adoptive parents will feel. And when he moves out to university, meets a girl, falls in love, and his drive, his quest to find what happened to his birth family, drives him so hard that he actually gets consumed by the guilt. He loses his relationships as he thinks he has to go it alone. And he conflicts with what his life goal is as he seeks out the answers. And he ultimately fails. It's only when he overcomes his own guilt and his own fears and talks to the people in his life, like his adoptive mother, that he finds the truth and actually learns what happens. And he returns to his life as a changed man, but the world around him is still pretty much the same. He just fits better.
Now, at some point, you're gonna apply this to anime, right? We're not gonna just talk about.
I am. Yes. Could you bring up Asset 1 for me, Nasuth? It's a great little thing here.
All right.
So that, is a nice little doodle. And for people not paying attention to the actual show, listening, this is a actual circular chart showing the hero's journey, and it's assumed 12 phases. And it's very reliant on where you see the normal world and then the unknown. And the important thing about it is it's a circle. It seems so obvious when you. So from your start, you progress through. You are crossing a threshold into the unknown. You're moving through trials and failure and growth. You're gaining companions, helpers. You reach a point where you have to confront something about yourself, and there is death and rebirth, which is surprising. It could be emotional, physical, anything. Then with the revelation, you have the final changes, the atonement and the reward for it before you return to your normal world. And we see this in quite a lot of anime. And it's told really well in some of them, and then it fails in others. A show I like, that you guys haven't watched and don't really like, is Bleach. Bleach is one of the big three, and it does bring up the hero's journey in its first couple of seasons. And it brings it up rather literally in many cases. So Bleach has a starting person in the normal world who has one unique thing about him. He encounters the unknown. Hollows come to his world and he can see them. Then he's offered the sword, literally the sword, as a opportunity to move into the world of the unknown. Takes it, becomes a Shinigami. Is then, in the entire first season, is his rise and his gaining in skill as he's mentored through the acts of becoming a Shinigami, until he encounters almost literal death and rebirth. The people from Soul Society, Rukia's older brother and her best friend, come to the real world, take back Rukia, and leave him absolutely helpless. So yeah, the great thing about that, about the moment that Rukia is taken back, is because they almost kill him. They could have, they didn't, and he's forced to reacquire his powers. It's literal death and rebirth of his powers in that moment. But the rest of the season is him seeking the girl, bringing his companions with him into another world, and then defeating his opponents and returning back to his ordinary life, changed, more powerful because of it all. And he fits into his everyday life better because he's now accepted in both worlds. It's
so I kind of can we bring back the asset, because like I'd like to be able to compare this easily and things like that. So
okay.
When go on.
So then, at the start, ordinary guy. The call to adventure is when he encounters Hollows for the first time and sees Rukia.
Yeah.
Meeting a mentor. Crossing the threshold is when he takes the sword and the powers from her.
Yeah.
And then that first arc in the unknown world is him gaining powers, training, becoming a Shinigami. And then he hits death and rebirth.
So just to sorry, so are we still in Act 1 or? So
okay, crossing the threshold is all Act 1 up to the point of crossing the threshold, where you cross into the new unknown area. In this case,
so this is the Soul Society.
Still in the normal
world. Unknown.
No, crossing the threshold is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when he becomes a Shinigami. Okay.
When he becomes a Shinigami, and then the adventure itself, tests, allies, enemies, is where he's facing Hollows. He's gaining the Shinigami powers. He has his helpers there with his friends, and Rukia training him, and he's growing, gaining new skills. But then the death and rebirth happens as is part of the series, where Rukia is taken away, and he has had his powers sealed by Byakuya. Stabs him in the two zones that controlled his power.
Right.
He then goes through the revelation with change, where he goes to Urahara Kisuke, regains his powers.
It's not on the right-hand side now. That was what was confusing me, because I was following the right.
Okay, I see. Sorry, the actual chart is a bit cartoonishly drawn, but these are on the right are the classifications.
I think death and rebirth is the ordeal. Growth and new skills is approaching the inner cave.
Yes.
So this is
the
inner cave.
These can be different lengths depending on what the story is telling you. So from Death and Rebirth, you then get the entire Soul Society arc of Bleach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he uses these new powers and even goes through the cycle of Death and Rebirth again. He loops back to it when he's beaten and has to learn Bankai. And so finally, he...
Oh, I see. Wow. So some of this gets stretched out.
So that second half of the arc is the entire Soul Society arc, and loops back round to at least once.
Yeah, which is like episode 20 to 64.
Yes, it's a huge arc.
Because you can get subcycles. Oh God, what is that called? There's a name for it when you get subcycles of the hero's journey within the larger. I think it's like ring composition or something.
Yes, it is. And then at the end of Soul Society, he's given the gift of becoming a substitute Soul Reaper in the real world. He returns to the real world, and he has his powers, his knowledge, and his new life. But at the same time, he still has his old life as a student and can blend the two. So he is... And so, even though this then takes off again, it loops the entire series again over the next few seasons, next few arcs, and it leads to one bigger journey. So it's a ring cycle and a ring cycle and a ring cycle of a much bigger hero's journey. So with that, there are shows that do this and expand on it.
And there are also ones that end up subverting your expectations, where they end up being like a tragedy.
Yes, that's exactly what I was moving on to, because all of the heroes' journeys you can combine these elements differently. So another really good one is Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Okay.
Because Cyberpunk Edgerunners starts with our hero being ordinary in a world that he doesn't seem suited for. He is... Yeah, drop the acid off, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
He is given a rags to riches story, almost, where he wants to be something. And then he's given the opportunity, he's given the call to power, which is the Sandevistan, but it's driven by tragedy. Okay? And the entire story is a tragedy. Okay? Nobody ends up fine in this story. And so you're telling a hero's journey of rags to riches, of overcoming the monster, of the quest to find something, and and even a little bit of rebirth. You're telling it from that basis of a tragedy. So
again, like I'm loving to go back to this actual asset because like like being able to compare the two. Like obviously I have to keep the series in my head, right?
Yes.
But so are we saying that like meeting a mentor? This is when he meets Lucy in the train car.
But the mentor doesn't have to be a mentor in a sense. It's a gateway to the call to power. Okay, he has the call to power is the tragedy of his mother's death and the acquisition of the Sandevistan. That's the magic sword in this story, as it were. Okay, that's so the ordinary world. The call to adventure is next. The call to adventure is the Sandevistan. The refusal of the call doesn't happen in this case. He doesn't. He wants to. He throws himself into the other world. Crossing the threshold is when he says, "Let me work for you," to the gang. Let me work off my debt. Let me, show you what I can do. And he becomes a cyberpunk with them. Becomes the Edgerunner. And you see his rise as it goes up. And in this case, the death and rebirth is when their leader goes cyber psycho. Okay? He has that tragedy again where...
Oh god, yeah.
Yes, where his leader goes cyber psycho and kills his own lover. And she dies taking him out. And...
Because, again, you have that really iconic scene where David is sort of like staring off in the distance and realizing just how badly shit's gone down.
Yes. But even up to that point, because you see it before that, the trials and failure, the tests, allies and enemies thing, there is a failure when the first one of them gets shot by that cyber psycho. Rebecca's brother, the hacker.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was a bit of an asshole, but he gets killed. That's one of the tests. That's one of the trials.
Yeah.
And it was a moment for David when he realized that no, we are mortal. But then when their leader went cyber psycho, that was the real test. And that's where you see that real time jump, because their group pretty much fell apart. And David took over by becoming the new leader in that sense, driving them forwards. And the changes he went through there are important because they also set him on the road to his own tragedy. He thought he had to become that figure. Become more chrome, more modded, more strong. And he became a legend in his own right. Among the people of the afterlife, among the other mercenaries, he gained his reputation and reformed his own team. And the crisis comes when they really start to fail again, when they go on to when outside forces decide to screw them over with a job that will give them this strange machine. And they force David into taking it on. You can see David reaching the peak of what he can do and having to rely on drugs to keep his mind safe again.
Yeah.
And the real confrontation is the overcoming the monster part, where the monster is both Arasaka and Adam Smasher. And, of course, the underworld guy that's has...
screwed them over.
It's blackmailed Kiwi and things to get them into the situation. Multiple monsters, a hydra, as it were. And they take one mad dash to try and put things right. And then you find the tragedy that is David's story. And the happy ending for him isn't his own end. It's the person he loves getting out of this and getting to fulfill their dream. And it's Shakespearean. Almost everybody ends up dead on the stage. It is a tragedy, but it is no less a hero's journey for that.
So, like, looking at this diagram, the 12 phases and things like that, I feel like it basically stops at the Get's gift. It's like, I mean, the gift is like, Lucy
David's story
survives.
ends there. David's story. Lucy's is the only one that returns to the ordinary world, changed by this, and that's what makes it a tragedy. Because
technically, that's not true. But
right.
There's also the driver. I can't remember his name. But
he's not considered he's there, but he's a minor character.
He's more of a plot device for the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's it's a great example. So bearing this in mind, where you've seen these comparisons, our setup now is isekai.
Yeah.
Okay. So
is that all we're covering is isekai?
Well, I kind of think so. I think
how you get it wrong is emblemized by a lot of isekai.
Okay.
So, Nasuth, name us an isekai that you think is terrible.
All of them. That's not true.
No. Just give us pull one out of the bag.
What?
Shall I help you here, Nasuth?
Yeah, I don't know a lot of not apothecary guys. What is the one where they open up a pharmacy in another world?
Okay, here's one for you. It's like I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world.
That's a good one too.
That one's just awful.
Okay. So, let's break it down, because I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
So, I got a cheat skill in another world. Probably be under high.
Yeah. So, it's up. Nasuth, I got it.
It's up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's see. When you start off, it starts off in the ordinary world, obviously, with our protagonist, who is not popular. He's overweight, as far as I've seen from some of the screenshots.
Yes, that's correct.
He is very put upon. He is given a call to adventure.
That is correct.
Which is his door to the other world. And in this case, I'm fairly sure he does have refusal of the call, where he doesn't believe what's going on.
Yeah, there's like a moment of like just shock and like, wait, this was because it's a hidden room behind the bathroom, where his grandfather had like all this like cool shit, including the door that goes to the other room.
Now, crossing the threshold is not actually just literally crossing the threshold through the door. It's accepting the strange new world and what it can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does he do that?
It's more a case of like, so when he's in the strange new world, he kind of stumbles upon a bunch of stuff. He ends up killing a bunch of monsters, gets a crap ton of experience, because like he's basically in the highest level zone, in like a safety bunker where he can attack out, but they can't attack in. So he basically accidentally uses a sword that's a nuclear weapon, effectively murderizes a bunch of stuff, and then gets like 150 levels worth of experience in like a couple of kills. He then ultimately comes back to the real world. His body goes through a horrific change, right? I think it's overnight, actually. And that's when like he kind of finally accepts the call to action, right? It's like he realizes that he can go back and forth between the world and actually take this adventure. Okay.
So the next part of the hero's journey is always the test allies enemies and approach what he calls approaching in a cave, where he will find his actual ordeal. And this can take a long time. What can you describe as this progress?
So,
does he progress at all from any of these things?
So here's the big thing. So there are multiple tests where he is more experimenting with his own ability. Like he's got this newfound ability. What can he do with it and things like this? But with allies, he's just basically slowly picking up a harem. Enemies, there's just random mobs. There's no like Darth Vader-esque character waiting to brutally murder the guy. It's just like, you know, that's basically it.
Is he ever under threat?
Never. He's never under threat.
The more
this guy is so OP. Huh?
Okay.
The more you talk about this, the more it sounds like another isekai that you made me watch. Well,
Probably.
made me watch part of.
Yeah.
Probably.
So, what is his big ordeal? Where does he fail?
He doesn't have one, right? There is no inner cave to approach, right? And we were waiting for there to be an ordeal, right? We were waiting for there to be a big bad to encounter things. It doesn't happen, right?
Okay.
And that's where this just like seriously just falls off a cliff. And I'm like, this really highlights the failings of the series.
Exactly. Yeah. So no ordeal. Does he ever have a point where he has to realize anything else about himself? So if he doesn't fail, he doesn't have that decline. He doesn't have that need to confront something about himself that is lacking. And so he then can't form a resolution.
And this again, it's really instructive to hear this. Like we've got called to an adventure, but there is no adventure to be called to, right?
Indeed.
And again, like it's kind of interesting how effectively the author of the narrative just turned around. It's like, right, that's it. You're the best now. It's like, but I haven't done anything. This doesn't feel rewarding because I've not worked for it. I've just been given it, right? And like, you know, he goes to his regular life and people are shocked that it's him because like, oh, who are you, newbie? And it's like, oh, I'm that fat dumpy kid. And it's like, what? There's literally this screenshot, right? And you know, he goes to buy some clothes at a shopping center, and he gets picked up by a photographer to do a photo shoot, and it's just like everything is basically given to him because he is pretty, right? And yeah, so it's like it just falls off a cliff. Nothing else happens in the series. Nothing of any notable worth, at least.
Yeah. Does he at least beat a demon lord and return back to his regular life? No.
Nope.
He just carries on.
Yep. Like I was saying to Lars and I think to Nasuth as well, what would have been really good, and this is unfortunately writing the narrative for them, is the adventure is actually preventing the two worlds from interacting, right? So stuff from the other world getting into our world, or vice versa, our world trying to get into theirs. He is basically the keeper that keeps the world separate. That would have been a brilliant call to adventure. Like, you know, this is his responsibility. If you know, maybe he goes and explores the actual world, that so on and so forth, and then he comes back and he finds out that this has all happened. And it could be his house is under quarantine because, like, where are these monsters coming from and things like this. It would have been brilliant if that was the case, but no, nothing like that.
Okay. That's fair enough.
He was just a teenager. Just did teenage things.
So we see, even though you don't always have to stick to a fixed narrative with a hero's journey, if you ignore it, it's a disappointing narrative.
Really massively so.
Alternatively, if you get it all out of the way in like the first 3 episodes, which is Arifureta, right?
Okay. So
it is Arifureta, right?
Let's compare this.
It is Arifureta.
Yeah. So in Arifureta, Xeno and Laws made me watch like the first, I think it was the first 3 episodes.
3.
Yeah. And strangely enough, it was actually pretty interesting, right? There's this guy, who's been isekai'd. You start kind of in the middle of things where he's in a dungeon with his party, and they all abandon him, right? So you've got this you kind of skip the ordinary world, and you already have the call to adventure. You're already in the midst of the call to adventure because he's in the dungeon now.
Right.
But then they abandon him, and he's kind of left for dead. So they kind of skip refusal of the call and the mentor.
I kind of feel like this is actually where like a secondary call to like his own call to adventure happens.
Yes.
Because he has to survive. He needs to get out of there.
It's sort of the ordeal, but it's also the call to adventure.
Crossing the threshold is acceptance of the new thing, the unknown, and starting your actual point in from there. So everything else before that, before he decided that he was actually going to take part in this, would be still technically the normal world, because he's thinking about it in the ways of his normal world. He's not accepted that he's there. So up until that point could be the refusal of the call.
Yeah. So keep going.
But so then he does have to learn new skills. It's really kind of weird and out of order, because he learns the new skills, and then he finds the ally.
Yes. Again, you can play about with some of the orders.
Who is not the mentor.
Allies and enemies come in the second part of the adventure. As you build up a party.
I would actually say the mentor in this instance is actually himself.
Yes.
He's taking inspiration from like, he's like, I'm not dying here. I'm not going to die here. I will get out. Yeah. Right.
And so, he struggles against the monsters in order to gain more abilities from their powers. And he does eventually face one big ordeal at the end boss of that dungeon. And that's great. All that's great. All that is really solid work, and was really for the most part enjoyable. And then it just devolves into harem and meandering and no consequences.
So basically, in the first 3 episodes, it does acts 1 and 2 really effing quickly in the first 3 episodes, and then act 3 is like, nah, fuck going home. I'm just gonna go do my own thing. I'm gonna collect me some waifus, and and it devolved massively, right?
They rushed it so hard.
Yeah, and it just completely veered off course. It kind of felt like the first 3 episodes, maybe like the first volume of the light novel or whatever, to get people in, and then you've done the job, and now you could go have a happy life doing whatever the fuck you want, right?
Okay.
And but there's no reason for him to ever go back, right? In the first season, at least. I know there's a second season.
That can be part of the trope as well, because when you go through a rebirth kind of thing,
sometimes
you don't have to go back home. You can set a new normal.
Yeah.
The whole point is finding a new normal.
But it's just
even the setting could change, but then you reestablish a normal world.
True,
so,
and then it just never goes anywhere.
I don't want 9 episodes of the series being Act 3.
Being a normal world,
Yes.
Another show would then introduce a bigger threat that he has to overcome, and a wider world to explore and be a part of. And it's just like, they have the wider world, but it's just full of girls to romance.
Yeah.
Well, not that I would object.
Wouldn't you though?
This one is not fun. Don't let her bunny ears fool you.
She's a lie. The one on the left is worse. The fucking horny dragon.
Well, now.
Yeah. No. Seriously. She's
physically and mentally.
But no, seriously, because she is the most insufferable character. You're just fuck off. I want to hit you. I want to God damn it, you're just so annoying. You're a fucking dragon. Why don't you just destroy that army with your fucking dragon powers? Nope, you're just gonna stand there and be helpless and horny.
We gotta let Arifureta, be in the spotlight.
Anyway.
Alrighty. So,
But yeah,
So yes, you can see. Okay, here's one. Because we were all disappointed by the second season of Slime.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't sure which second season we were going to talk about.
I know. I thought about going into the second season of Shield Hero, but see, Shield Hero is a really good mix. But our dear Slime Rimuru, which is what's this?
Try to find it.
Do we not have it? I'm sure we have it.
No, we 100%.
Oh, it's going to be under T. It's going to be under T, not R.
At that time, yes.
There it is. Yes. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in the first season, we had a fairly good hero's journey, didn't we? If you think about it, and it became upsetting in the second season because they didn't progress the hero's journey. They just kept they fannied about in gazebos. But the whole first season was our man got isekai'd, which is I'd like to call it in the way they did it, the proper unrefusable call to action.
Yeah.
Where he's presented with this new world. And the actual step on the hero's journey, the crossing the threshold, is when he realizes that what he is a slime, and he can then start doing things. You see the next bit where he goes through the cave. He gains some skills. He then meets the dragon and his new ally, makes friends, and starts progressing on. Goes out of the cave. He starts exploring the world, and his even he goes through more. He gains the goblins. He gains the Oni. He gains allies.
Can I just say?
And he goes through tests.
I just want to say to everyone, I keep on bringing back up this diagram because I like having a visual aid to talk at when
It's a good visual aid.
Yeah, so like if people are wondering why it comes up and down, it's because I'm doing it. It's like, Anyway, sorry.
So, and then you have his death and rebirth, where he discovers what should be the love of his life, and he has to go through a complete apotheosis with this one because she dies.
Yeah,
and he is fully goes through a death and rebirth, the tragedy of that, and taking her into himself, he gains a whole new form and becomes a whole new being, and then can go out and face the world again. And the failures that brought made him stronger, made him different, made him think about this world differently, and was able to resolve the conflict, establish his hometown, and start improving. And it becomes a new normal after that, where he's got this town full of goblins and monsters and everything. Sorry, I just got Nasuth talking. But the whole thing is built around the hero's journey, and really expands on this thing going through. The second season disappoints because instead of cycling through again, giving him a proper new call, it just makes him more powerful.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that we're talking about this, because I really feel that when it comes to Slime, it does a really good job going from Act 1, 2, and 3, but when the hero gets home and everything, and then the hero just fucks about and things like this, I'm the more we talk about this, the more I'm kind of feeling to myself that if you're going to have a narrative about a hero, you want to hear the hero's journey. Like, yeah, you could put like a decade or two in between, but we don't care about his fanning about in between. Yes, you can reflect on it. Yes, you can say like, oh, what were you doing for the last 20 years? I was growing corn, right? We don't need to see 20 years worth of him growing corn, right?
No.
But I feel that where Slime goes wrong, where Slime derails, is because when he finally gets home, right, from his journey, he then fannies about and doesn't start a new one.
No, he has to get another call. And then when they do that, he just rises above it. There is no more death and rebirth. There's no more finding your new, finding yourself stronger from that, from loss and pain, in that sense. Yes, he does lose people, but he brings them back.
It's sort of that old problem of
that.
How do you escalate without just going into DBZ territory, where you end up with like universe-ending disaster problems.
Okay. Let's 2 seconds. We'll be right back because we're going to make an asset for this. Okay. So you were going on about things like of a long-running series and things like that, and the one that I want to push back with is actually. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's not an isekai.
Neither is Dragon Ball Z.
Fair enough.
That was your argument, Nasuth, right?
Well,
anyway,
okay, yeah.
But I mean, even so, regardless of it being an isekai or not, right? I feel that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure does an absolutely fantastic job of the hero's journey for one simple reason. When the hero gets home at the end of the day, they are able to go have their own life, and we have a new hero take their place, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to have the power escalation go absolutely bonko, wacko, funko time insane.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like imagine if Goku had actually died and Gohan had taken over as was intended. Yeah.
But I mean, like, the big thing is, with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right? If Giorno Giovanna, had actually taken on anything, like he is a literal god now. He could do whatever the F he likes. He can rewrite the universe. He can do everything that he could do whatever he wants. If Giorno fought Father Pucci, right?
Yeah.
From Stone Ocean, Giorno would have won.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even have.
He can literally do what Dio wanted Father Pucci to end up doing.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
like, But the problem there is, where do you escalate from there?
Yeah.
Your call to action, your call to adventure is impossible because you just rise above it so fucking hard, right?
Exactly.
So the great thing about this is the reset of the hero makes it so much more viable, makes it so much more interesting and entertaining, right? So
a really non-anime but potentially anime example. Legend of Zelda.
Okay, yeah.
Close enough.
This is the exact same thing that's made that series so popular over time. Is because they don't use the same hero. Yeah, they actually go in, and it's essentially the same characters.
It's more of a reincarnation deal, so it
reboots every time.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same link between Breath of the Wild and
Yes. And technically it's also the same link between Ocarina of Time,
Ocarina of Time,
Majora's Mask,
Majora's Mask,
Oracle. I think also Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons both also are the same link, but that might be Zelda 1 link. I'm not sure. Either way.
But this is neither here nor there, right?
Yes.
See, to me, it really same principle, but it really hurts me when they are reset back to nothing, right?
Well, it's because it's a different character. All the items have been put back into their places of protection.
We're talking about the same character ones, right? We're talking about Breath of the Wild's Twilight Kingdom, right?
Right.
That one hurts me. Now, when it comes to a character like Samus, which is, let's face it, it's the same thing. At the end of the day, Samus goes beyond what she was at the start of the game, right? That's the only reason why I tolerate it with Samus. You could probably say the same thing with Link, but it's not something that I favorably look upon. Look at fucking Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelation.
Another good one that you might have not picked up, is Mass Effect.
Never played
If you carry over your character between Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3, your character starts at a higher level.
That's awesome.
Or with abilities unlocked. Even though, for example, between 1 and 2, they do reset you.
Yeah.
Okay? You still start with the same character, but with it has functions that it wouldn't if you just started the game dead. If you just started right. So
from scratch,
So these things do carry over. I mean, I think the 3, if you've played all of 2 and you take a level 60 character over from 2, you get a level 60 character at the start of 3. And you can progress to level, I think it's 80, 90 or something in that. It's a noticeable step. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's a similar thing. But that's progression. That's where you have a game world that adapts to what level of play you are.
To put that back in JoJo terms, it's kind of like Jolene getting a little bit of help from her father, or from not necessarily help, but like insight from her father and from what is the group that he runs? Speedwagon Foundation. Yeah. So like those kind of things are carryovers from the past that are to her benefit.
Okay.
It also did help that JoJo did change its power system as well.
Oh yeah.
Going from Hamon to Stans.
Yeah.
But they still reference Hamon, which I think is really nice and interesting.
It's great.
Yeah.
Because a person with Hamon is still better than a normal person.
Yeah.
Yes. But that also helped change things. That also helped progress things so that each new person can be, or each new JoJo can be a completely different power set and adventure set.
Yeah.
And so
they have their own cave to unlock and their power to
exactly
to learn about.
Yes. So you're right. We can hold on.
Well, why don't we talk about some of the stuff that we've seen in more isekai stuff? Because obviously we sidetracked into
some good things for a minute.
Yeah. Wow. Fucking wow. Okay. So tell you what, one that doesn't reset, that's had multiple seasons, that I think does the hero journey well, which is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? Right? We have Bell Cornell, I think his name is.
Cornell.
Okay. He is trying to do his adventuring, so on and so forth, and he doesn't ever face the whole reset scenario that some characters need and some characters have. But at the same time, his power never escalates out of control.
He takes reasonable, realistic steps rather than
no.
leaps.
No, not just that. But I'm talking about the fact that how much Goku has leveled up.
That's what I mean by crazy leaps. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
Let me say, Bell does take a couple of crazy leaps. But they seem to be earned and warranted. So one of the crazy leaps was his Argonaut power, and where he was able to kill, or at least massively damage, the floor boss by using
the one that broke through.
Yes, so he was given a weapon that was powerful enough to withstand the power he needed to use.
Yeah.
And was given the opportunity by everyone collaborating and joining in to use his power, Argonaut, to strike a decisive blow. That was an incredible leap in power over what he had before when he started out in the dungeons. But it was warranted. It was built upon the backs of the efforts of everyone around him as much as everything else. And so
that sounds more akin to the Spirit Bomb than, say, Super Saiyan Blue.
Yes, exactly. So
or Ultra Instinct or whatever. Yeah.
But it's still a crazy leap in power compared to what he had. But again, the difference is that journey. It's how he got there. Goku punches things lost.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. That is a really fair point. I was kind of wondering where you were going with this.
They had to work towards that instead of just like, bam, he has it.
Yeah, like it's sort of like the choices that you make along your way, as opposed to just keep punching something until you're better at punching something. And I kind of feel that the big thing with Bell is that maybe he goes up one level a season, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, Akira Toriyama gave up on the whole power level system because he's just like, this is stupid. I hate this. Why did I come up with this?
In the universe survival arc, he goes up several times in the same like sequences because it's it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah, it's funny. They had to in the now canonical Broly movie, not the other one, show that the legendary Super Saiyan didn't need any of these boosts and kept up with like the newest the newest bad threat that they had, which was Golden Frieza, for an hour of fighting, getting stronger and stronger.
You say he kept up, more like wailed the shit on him, but yeah.
I think that's why I liked the superhero movie more, because it was about the lower power level characters. It wasn't this crazy, out of control, just monstrosity.
Exactly. So that was the thing, is that in Dragon Ball Z, it's all about unlocking the new stage and practicing your fighting until you do, and being like in a desperate situation to draw that power out. Whereas with dungeon grinders, like Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, you have to meaningfully work at your skills.
Yeah.
And there's much more actual visual show, not tell, of going through that progression, where getting a new skill, because because it's all on your back. You can't even see your own growth. You have to get your god or goddess to update your thing by, re-etching it. But
that leads to a much more meaningful and deep growth for the hero. It actually leads to a hero's journey and not just I punch.
Yes. Remember,
I punch and I rely on my friendship.
Remember, I mentioned last week the Dungeons & Dragons progression thing of leveling up via experience versus leveling up via milestones. So this is with Bell, it feels like you're leveling up via experience, but it's only granted to you in milestones.
That's fair.
Sure.
You only see you only see the results in milestones. So you've got the method of grinding of experience, but you only get to see the results.
It's like seeing your little experience bar fill up, but the only time you can actually unlock the next level is if you go to a town and talk to somebody or something, which I don't think is actually
you rest at the bonfire and invest your souls.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yes. So.
Okay. So I've got another one that I want to rag on, which is, so I'm a spider, so what? Right? Now,
go wild.
The biggest issue with So I'm a Spider, So What is that this is two hero journeys sat on top of each other in terms of how they're narrated, right? But not chronologically, right? One happens after the other, but they're told at the same time, right? And it's frustrating as all hell, yeah? You're left to think like, oh, X, Y, what if X, what if Y, what if Z, so on and so forth. And it is tiring, right? So, very quickly, the start, which way we've got, like, going from the call to adventure to
it's an
meeting your mentor.
So it's literally the isekai. So it's literally the unavoidable call to adventure.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still have a sub-call to adventure.
But well, I mean, the whole point is that they're thrown into this very fucking, god damn it. So I'm trying to increase the size of this. Yeah, right. So they're thrown into this very, very fast, right? Obviously, isekai, no choice. You get the idea, right? They then test their abilities. Some of them have allies, some of them don't, right? Enemies are... Actually, I'm going to talk about this as two separate things. So we've got the spider journey, and then we've got the human journey, right? So the spider tests abilities and gains enemies, no allies, right? Which is, that's fine. We work with that. The human adventure, tests abilities, is in a school, gains allies, no real enemies, right? You get like the odd bully, not really counted. Yeah?
Yeah.
The spider is in the inner cave from basically the get-go, right? There's no choice. Yeah?
They're
brilliant.
I would say that their inner cave is approaching the fire layer in the dungeon and finding they do not have the ability to get through it, and so having to stop and accept that they have to go and confront their enemy. They have to confront the big boss and defeat him so that they can get the power to leave. Okay,
fine.
Yeah.
Right. The what's the name of the damn thing? The human side of it, I can't even remember if they even approached. I think they did approach a cave at some point in time, but because we spent so much time fanning about in the school, it was boring. The cave was dull. We had a really nice cave with the spider. Let's talk more about the spider cave. Let's fuck the human cave. Human cave sucks, right? The ordeal for the spider, right? The death and rebirth thing. Like, this is something that they kind of lean on heavily, and it's not a 5-second job. It's something that goes over a long period of time, because basically spiders like brought to the brink of death multiple times and has to learn to get better and things like this. It's brilliant, right? Human, skip that bit, right?
Umi. Good old Umi.
Huh?
Good old Umi.
Good old Umi. Yeah. Skip that bit. We then basically we're making our way further into the spider story, and realistically we're getting close towards the return home, right? That narrative is then cut. It is lengthened, it is dragged out, right? We're no longer having the return home, right? We're just waiting for the end of the Humi journey, right?
Yes.
Which eventually gets to the whole... Huh?
We're having the meander home.
Yeah,
basically. But then we eventually have
things actually happen.
Yeah. Oh god, tell me about it. Then we finally have the ordeal, right? For the humans, right? Finally, after God knows how much meandering, and but their ordeal never gets resolved because dun dun dun, end of the spider arc, right?
Yes.
It makes it such a horrid narrative.
Yes. See, I would like to contrast a little bit with your view. My view of them telling two stories at the same pace-ish, but chronologically separate stories that you think could be happening together and aren't. I didn't mind that. I actually like stories that do that. That tell multiple
sort of like,
story arcs from different points in time.
Yeah, it's sort of like, what would you hate more? Having to constantly jump back and forth between two stories, or getting, some arcs, some full arcs in before it jumps back to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's...
Sorry, I wasn't quite finished with
what
I
on,
was saying.
Go on, you finish.
So the reason I didn't like Spider in this sense was because, I liked the bit with the spider. The reason I didn't like the human part of this is because they weren't properly done characters.
Yeah.
They were just tropes until they get some personality back. When they actually go through their little bit of trial and discover, why everything's, the time difference. So
my counter argument to what you were saying, right? They do not keep pace with this, right? We see the humans for the first time in episode 3, right? We then don't see them again until episode 11, right? We've had nothing but pure spider goodness, right? For a whole truck ton of episodes, and then we're back to the human, and we barely see Spider again, right? A good series for keeping pace with 3 heroes' journeys, right, at the same time, actually, paced really, really well, in terms of like episode layout and things, was Bakano. Bakano did a fantastic job of this. We don't actually have it in the system. It's just not one I've added. And it's fantastic. The only problem with Bakano is that you really have to understand and realize that this is 3 separate stories told one after another, and it is important that you understand this. And if you're watching it in Japanese, you may struggle to pick up on that to begin with. But it's an absolutely fantastic series, and it does the hero's journey well without fucking up the narrative. So,
right.
I'd kind of like to talk about one that potentially does it. We don't really know because it didn't get a second season, but potentially did it well, and it potentially did it in an interesting way. Because it's the Executioner Her Way of Life, and in that one they used a fake hero's journey to eventually lead you towards a real hero's journey, and I thought that was kind of an interesting way to do it.
Okay, let's talk that through then.
The basics of this anime is that this is a world where people regularly get isekai'd. You can see the results of this in the fact that they have very modern technology. It's very similar to Japanese, like a lot of Japanese cultural carryovers have been brought in. But it's also devastated their world in a lot of ways. There are these 4 great cataclysms, because each person who's isekai'd there embodies a natural law or concept. Like the one that we follow specifically embodies the concept of time. There was one before that embodied the concept of white, which is really weird. That was actually one of the devastating ones, strangely enough. But anyway, so what they do is they trick these isekai people into thinking, you're a hero. You're a hero. You're here to save the world, and then they once they're lulled into a false sense of security, they kill them. Just murder them. Because you can't just try to kill them outright. Obviously, these people are incredibly powerful. They embody concepts. So you have to gain their trust. You have to trick them and then murder them, or whatever, what have you.
I think before you continue, I think one of the important things to realize here is that in this world setting, everyone has magic, but their magic is limited. It's capped. Whereas all the isekai heroes are effectively Giovanna, who can just ultimate. I'm just going to destroy half this planet now, right? And that's the reason for such harsh actions as to execute these potential world-ending events.
The one they introduced you to, you can see it. Like, as soon as he realizes what he's got in him, he's like, I could use this to remake the world how I want, and like that's the danger. But the thing is, you're thinking the whole time, okay, so this is just a story about how they're gonna kill this person, our current isekai hero that we're following. And then it turns out that that's not actually the goal. There is a deeper problem going on here. And she would never, our executioner would have never been turned on to it if not for the fact that this person who can control time came to this world and sort of from the future came back and told her what's going on. Sort of.
Yeah.
And it's actually really cool that this fake journey, this falsehood, triggers a real journey that we'll probably never see because there's never going to be a second season.
There you go.
I mean,
it's probably
show
like a
itself
manga
was,
or a light novel.
Yeah. The show itself was kind of mediocre, to be fair, but it could have gotten better, and I liked that concept as just a concept.
They explored the journey really, really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, we cry for a season 2 of Claymore or a season any of Berserk. But
any except the Golden Age
except
arc.
the 2017.
Again, we don't need a Golden Age arc again. We just redo those. Do them again.
Yeah,
but better. Without CG. But yeah. So on.
Yeah. I kind of want to divert because I thought of one while I was prepping for this.
Yeah.
That we can kind of bounce off because I know of a hero's isekai that does a hero's journey that we've yet to see the death and rebirth in. Okay. No Game, No Life.
Okay.
You monster.
Okay, we haven't had a second season, so we don't know. Okay, but No Game, No Life is a good series, and yet it doesn't complete almost any of the hero's journey. We see them in the normal world. We see their call to adventure in the literal call of the god of games. We see them cross the threshold into the new world, and then we see them in their trials, tests, gaining allies, gaining power and growing in what they can do. And the series ends before we can have the death and rebirth, before they can hit the challenge that they need to.
Yeah.
The story hasn't finished, and yet they've managed to tell a complete series and leave us wanting more because of it. We can see it. It's a comedy. It's a quest. It's a rags to riches. It's even overcoming the monster, as it were, because we know that the end game of the show is kind of like laid out before us by having every culture have their own chess piece. And the god of games is right there. He wants to take on the world in a great game. And so we've got our hero's journey of them wanting to work their way up until they can take on the god of games with the entire world as their team. And maybe even become the new gods of the world if they can. That would be great. That would be amazing. But because we are still on that upswing, it just builds excitement. It's left us on the cliffhanger. At the end of the second act,
they have
as
yet
far
to be
as the hero's
challenged
journey
beyond
goes.
their abilities. But
Yes.
they have been challenged, and it has been exciting, but they haven't yet been challenged
Yes.
beyond their abilities.
Yes. And that's great so far, because it tells that start. I'm a little worried, in fact, that if we do get a second season, we'll see
They'll never get
more of
challenged
that
beyond
until
their
they
abilities.
then we won't get a challenge beyond their abilities. They'll just keep escalating until they hit the wall of we're just going to go for it with the power of friendship. Or the power of my cute little sister, as it were. So there's all the room in the world for that to go wrong. But at the moment, we've had a whole season that is just 2 acts.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, I'd say it didn't even finish the second act, but yeah.
No, exactly. So that really is an interesting point to be, because it leaves more of the story, leaves more possibilities, but also they've done something that so many other shows like Arifureta did not do, which is take their time with the journey.
Yeah. I think that's the most rewarding element to No Game No Life, because, like, you know, we've shat on shows already for, you know, I Got a Cheat Skill or Arifureta, or I can't remember what else we've shat on, Spider, you know. But I think the big thing is, like, it's the wasting of time. It's the you know, the delivery. If Arifureta was an entire series based on the first 3 episodes, that would have been fucking amazing.
An entire season might have been too much, but at least like 6 to 8 episodes.
Well, no. I mean, you would put more monsters in, right? You put a lot more monsters in, right? You keep them down in the dungeon, so on and so forth.
But even
and,
still,
like,
I'd say 6 to 8 episodes. But still, point is,
So the last 4 episodes can be a bit of the fan bait.
Yeah,
or
as opposed to the last 9
next
episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh?
Or just setting up for the next great thing. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so the whole, I love all of this concept and everything. But, like, yeah, I mean, they don't fuck about. They don't waste time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we get an unsatisfactory, come on, where's the rest of the story?
Mm-hmm.
But it all builds so perfectly to that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each step is an escalation. Each challenge is a rise in stakes.
Nothing really feels like filler.
Yeah, I think, was it Nasuth? Like, you and I binged it in, like, was it like a couple of days?
I think so, yeah.
And and it's like, and that's it. It's like, what? It's like, yep, that's it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Monster.
So everything's a step up, and everything gives them more fantastical journeys, and even the people they meet are more and more powerful.
Yeah.
Going up. And, well, I mean, Jibril is still going to be more powerful than anybody else they've met now that she's on their side. It kind of it relegates her to the back seat.
Mm.
Yeah.
One of those, the villain when you're facing them, and then the villain when they're on team.
Yes. Yeah. But again, it was a beautifully done thing to show that these guys, these two, are up to the challenge of facing much more powerful opponents.
Okay. There's one more I want to do. I don't know if you guys... Do you guys have any others you want to do? Any others you want to cover?
Well, I mean, I hardly ever think about isekais, so no, not really.
Okay.
Unless you want to do good ones, in which case we could talk about Mushoku Tensei or Shield Hero. Or
sure, let's do Mushoku Tensei.
We're talking about bad ones. We're talking about bad ones.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about bad ones, but we should do a comparison.
Fair.
Yes. Mushoku Tensei does get this story right quite a lot.
Mm.
Especially season 1. Season 1 is like perfect.
Wonderfully done. Because it's, it goes through the whole cycle and sets up for the next.
Okay, I have a question for you. Right. Okay. So, to me, right, we actually have multiple stories of the hero's journey in Mushoku Tensei Season 1.
Yes,
right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, right? So, to me, Season 1, we have the obvious call to adventure because he gets isekai'd and no shit. But then it's a case of, he learns the magic. He's teaching himself. He has Roxy. He has his doting parents and everything.
Yes.
He's exploring the world. Yeah, he's exploring the world and things. He gets his ass handed to him by his own father because of a misunderstanding, right? Mm-hmm. And his dad even understands that he's a prick. Sorry, his father was a prick about it and things. Yeah. And ends up sort of like, coming back to normal. But then starts another journey because he wants to learn. He wants to go to Magic University and take Sylphiette with him. Right? Mm-hmm. So he has to go train Eris, anything, right? So he ends up going effectively on another journey where, again, he's flung into it, right?
Yeah, it's a whole new world for him. He's been at his little village for this entire, 8, 9, 10 years.
I think
he's 11 by the time he leaves.
Yeah, I think so. But regardless, it's a case of like,
when it's a much larger it's not quite royalty, right? But it's close to that. It's like lower royalty.
Yeah. But the whole thing is like, what's called, to start the journey, Paul and Rudius fight each other. Paul kicks his ass and then basically flings him into the back of a carriage with Greyfield. Right? It is Greyfield. That's her name, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he basically has to become again his own mentor, teaching himself something completely different, as well as accepting the teachings from Greyfield, right? Accepting the all this sorts of stuff. And again, he's going through the trials and tribulations. Eventually, bringing Eris on side and everything, blah blah blah. And then again, after she's given him the staff. She does give him the staff, doesn't she? Yeah, she gives him the staff. After all of that, it happens again. It starts again. He's flung into yet another call to adventure to get home from the demon continent. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Talking about this, I don't know why it feels like so obvious just talking about it, but my mind is just blown to think that it was so creative to just do it again and again and again.
But each of those little cycles helps push him along the greater journey to get home, to find a place for himself in this world,
to find his new normal. Yes. Now,
can I
see, that's the thing. You're absolutely right. So he's got the call to adventure initially. It's like one big cycle is going on.
Yeah.
The call to adventure initially is, of course, the isekai and the denial of it as he's being a child. He wants to be a child, but then he's offered magic and he's still thinking about it as if it's from the world he was.
Yeah.
And then he meets his mentor, he meets Roxy, and he crosses that threshold when he realizes he wants to do what's in this world. He wants to learn magic. He really thinks this is going, it's going to be. You're right. There is that, but I still count the trials and growth as part of that journey where Paul kicks his ass and sends him off to the Grey Rat family.
So do you think that is one journey on of its own? So from start to getting teleported?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's the whole thing, because in that, he's never brought to an actual emotional despair.
I disagree, because the whole him getting kidnapped with Eris and his plan going horribly wrong, and Greyfield has to come in and save their asses, right? That is where I feel you have your death rebirth revelation.
Yes, that's me. Right up until that point, that's it. That's the first time he's actually in a situation where, even with Paul, he wasn't, because it's his dad. As much as Paul is an asshole.
Yeah, that's more part of his training.
His father teaching him something that he feels his son needs to learn.
So the trial side of things.
So
I would say there's a bit of a revelation there, in that he now realizes that he needs to be a better person as well, because
but also that same thing of him being a better person is also when he meets Sylviette and
that's fair. That's fair.
Lots of the growth of him as a person until he puts
that's more
Eris
character
and
development
himself in danger. Fair. And then once he's in danger, he has to do something. He gets rescued, and then he has that revelation, has to change, has to atone, and then is given the staff. And he then starts his new normal with the Grey Rat family, but immediately is thrown into the next cycle by the teleportation. And goes through it all over again. It's incredible.
I feel that again, So season 2, part 1, because we haven't had part 2 yet. We can't talk about that in any length. I feel that again, they kind of changed the shape of this. Like, they lengthened certain parts. I feel that the core
very small one at the beginning and then a longer.
No. You see, I'd argue, right? It's a lot longer at the start and to the death and rebirth, right? And a very short, brief return to normal, right? It's. I think they got to the return because Nasuth, you've complained about this. You've argued the toss over this, that him getting to the new normal was like way
really,
too
really
wasted.
Yeah.
At the very end, right?
Yeah.
But I feel that the trials, failures, and all that stuff, that was on a different level, right? There was the psychological aspects of it and the things. Don't get me wrong. I still think season 1 is like leagues better than season 2, but I still really like season 2.
I wouldn't say that. I would say the moment he gets to the school is actually the new normal, because it shows him like carving out this niche for himself because he's now comfortable. He's at a stable. To me, the revelation, the death and rebirth is getting rejected by the girl. And in the northern area, and then having that vision from the man god.
I would not.
That is the death and rebirth there.
I would say that's a denial of the call.
Right? Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. But
I feel when the man god says go to the Magic Academy, that he heeds that call.
That's the crossing the threshold, I would say.
Right. To me.
And then, okay. Anyway.
To me, I feel the death and rebirth is when he finally fucking realizes that, I can't even fucking remember the guy's name, is actually Sylphiette, right?
Fitz.
It doesn't, what was it?
Fitz.
Yeah.
F-I-T-Z.
Yeah. Fitz is actually Sylphiette, right?
I would argue that season 2 doesn't even have a hero's journey. It's just slice of life.
I kind of get where you're coming from, but at the same time, there's the whole element of whether or not it's like, do I be as gay? Right?
It's like an emotional thing.
But no.
But also,
the thing is, the trials were too subtle, right? The whole thing with the summoner, right? The fact that Rudius just loses his goddamn shit when he realizes that she is the one that was with the Dragon Emperor. Was it Dragon Emperor, Dragon God? I can't remember what it is.
That was actually really good.
And also those hints that she's actually the girl that he saved to get isekai.
Yes. Yeah. And the fact that there's multiple. That this is just a little feature of the whole narrative. No, this is just a little feature of the narrative, but there's multiple ways to be isekai, which again, we've spoken about. But I think that the trials were too shallow for your taste, and I appreciate that. I really genuinely do. Right? Most people would say that. You've had people turn to you and say like, "This is the shittest part of Mushoku Tensei," right? And I get it. I really do. I would even argue that this is the shittest part, right? But to me, it's still better than fucking cheat skill.
Oh yeah. Right. No, it's still eminently watchable. It's just like
I'd pointed out that the whole thing after his time in the cave with Sylphiette, the change comes when she doesn't leave him.
Yeah.
And there's an atonement there. He gets gifts from the others, and they go about their adventure again.
Yeah.
And that's the return to the normal world, because he's going back to his adventuring thing.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. Right.
Yeah.
Any others that you want to talk about?
No, I think you had one more that you were going to tear apart.
I definitely want to talk about. No, I don't want to tear it apart because I really want to compare it to this. So what was that, Nasuth?
Okay. He just wants to talk about it.
I do.
Just want to talk.
Do we want to talk about Shield Hero? Do we want to talk about maybe level? Wait, what was the Demon Lord and One Room Hero?
Oh, but that's not really an isekai, though. I mean, we could talk about it, but it's not. It's not an
true.
Isekai.
Hey, why is it in this list? I don't know. Sorry. We could talk about the wrestling guy, pet.
Oh, Kimono Mini
shop guy.
Michi?
Thank you.
Yes.
You know,
Kimono Machi, yes.
is that?
No, I'm good with the rest because many of them are just comedies. So
Okay. Well, oddly enough, talking about comedies, the one I actually do want to touch upon is Konosuba. Right?
I was wondering if that would come up.
Yeah. So the interesting elements to Konosuba is like, you know, what is it doing? I kind of feel that the direction of Konosuba is to take the piss out of the hero's journey, right? It's about the failed starts of the hero's journey. What were you going to say, Nasuth?
And yet it still has one, which is great.
Does it have it? I'm interested. What do you think is?
Because Kazuma totally has the he rejects the call to action, but when shit goes down, he steps up. There's the trial in the start of season 2. You can see that as his death and rebirth. When they do the slime, when the slime thing shows up, he's totally willing to just like dive right in there and do it. He definitely goes from being just a shitty nobody to kind of being a hero.
I 100% agree with you. But I personally feel, right, the only reward he ever gets, the only gift he ever gets is the mansion, right?
Oh yeah, well yeah.
And I feel that the piss take in this is that nearly every single time he gets to death and rebirth, it resets to the start, or atonement, it resets to the start.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, I would argue that, when it hits,
he's always a reluctant hero. He has to be dragged.
Yeah, I suppose. But, like, again, the whole, like, the trial at the start of season 2 is a brilliant example to the fact that he has to atone for something that effectively should have been a lead up to his reward, right?
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, so fine, they finished that, they managed to get out. You think they managed to get out, but they've cleaned him out of home and board, right?
Yeah.
They've taken all of his possessions back, and okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah. So while he's got this house, he has nothing in it. It's like
the reason that it's such a good parody of this is because he never ends up changed.
Yeah.
They are all terrible people.
Yep.
All 4 of them. Union's the only nice one. But they are all terrible people.
I'd argue Wiz is the only nice one.
Yes.
Union's like, she got this weird rival shit, like, chip on her shoulder that for some reason she needs to get rid of.
Specifically because of who
Union is.
Yes.
On a tangent,
how she grew up.
Did any of us actually finish an explosion? Okay, cool.
Yes.
It was okay.
I liked it, but Nasuth didn't because of the things they did at the end.
Okay, but we're talking about specifically Konosuba.
Not
okay.
just that,
but because of Megamin. Because Megamin is who she is, that's why Union has the thing. Megamin's a terrible person. So
Union's actually a sweetheart. She's trying not to be.
Yes, because she wants to be friends with Megamin.
Because she wants to be friends with Megamin.
Or possibly. No, that's for the shippers. We won't go into that. So they skip the whole revelation and changes. Well, the change is part of the revelation, and even though there is atonement for the things to bring back for being a terrible people, it doesn't actually stop them being terrible people. So the last steps are skipped, and they just go right back to. They have to keep
repeating it. Yep.
Yes, until they finally will change it. So I don't know. At some point they might, and at that point you will see the end of whatever story it actually is. That's what makes it a good parody, because parody always should skip something important.
Yeah,
it should reflect what it's parodying, but also make fun of it. Yeah,
I feel like talking about this because there are other parodies of isekai and stuff like this, but they don't. I feel that with konosuba, it respects the existence of the hero's journey.
Yes.
As a tool, and will utilize it to deliver its comedy so damn well. Whereas most isekai comedies, they won't even like look at the hero's journey, right? Like,
yes.
If we want to look at Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, or they won't even think to about the hero's journey.
Or if they do, they'll do it in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, if that. It's
or they'll do it so badly, like Another World, My Overpowered Sister, or whatever it was. That one.
Oh, one hit kill sister.
Yeah, one hit kill sister. Yes, and the entire thing is just built around that one joke of incest. Yes, no, I mean no, not incest, but yes, incest.
Oh, so it's Oshi no Ko. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
That's but the consistent joke in that is not it tries to get a little bit of the hero's journey, but it just dissolves into the joke consistently.
Yeah.
And so there isn't any progress. There's no actual journey. No.
Before we finish off, I have one more. So I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. Like this. Yeah, I've one more.
But we've already had. We haven't had seconds yet, or 11s.
11s.
Second breakfast.
Yeah, second breakfast.
Okay.
Second isekai.
Skeleton Knight in Another World.
Yeah.
Right. I think we all really enjoyed Skeleton Knight.
Yes.
We always make the comparison that it is what Overlord wanted to be. Right? And I know that there are leagues more Overlord enjoyers than there are Skeleton Knight enjoyers. I don't really care to measure fandoms.
I would say it's what Overlord wanted to be, but it's what Overlord could have been if it.
Regardless, we're not measuring fandoms here. But my question to you is, I feel that with Skeleton Knight, it doesn't get to the death and rebirth either.
Yeah. It's another one where the first season is a build-up and is the first 2 acts. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, because even when he meets that one elf who kind of like kicks his ass, that's not really a death and rebirth moment. That's more akin to like Rudius's father, beating him, and him realizing, maybe I'm not the best person in the world.
Actually, to be fair, I would say that the call to adventure doesn't start until quite late as well.
Well, I'd say that bit is the crossing the threshold. The call to adventure is, of course, adventure. But
he wants that.
He meets the mentor.
He has no rejection of it. He just all goes.
But I mean, I would say the adventure. I'd say the adventure is when he is helping Elf Girl, I can't remember the name of, and begins his journey to maybe I can actually reclaim my humanity, right? Maybe I can.
I would say that's the point of. See, this is what amazes me. You can, with the hero's journey, you can stay with your mind in the normal world.
Yeah.
Until there is until you get further around the journey within the isekai.
Okay.
So this is a really good example of that. So there is the call to adventure. You've met the mentor. You then go through the trials and find helpers, maybe have some failures to knock you back a little bit, like getting your ass kicked. But it's a learning curve. But he didn't actually cross the threshold in his mind until he realized, oh no, shit, I do have a body.
Yeah.
The story I made up for this character actually is real.
Yeah.
And now I'm invested. And so he crosses the threshold at that point, even though he's been adventuring and doing the rest of it up until that point.
It was mostly going through the motions of what he thinks an adventure is versus what his adventure should be.
And appreciating the food.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that's really fun. I love that. Thanks for finishing on that one.
Cool. Right. I think I'm done. I don't think I've got any more.
I think we've exhausted. We've shit on a good couple of them, and we've showed how using it as a narrative device is great for making sure that you actually do, and mixing it up mixing up your elements and changing what your themes overall are, theming via a tragedy, theming via a comedy, taking a rags to riches story, or even a simple quest. It can actually add to everything you're doing about your hero, about your character you're following, your protagonist.
Yeah, no, I think this has been great, especially comparing against isekai, because there are so many out there that are just, you know, trash, and this is a real good way of measuring measuring it is quite subjective. It's quite, you know, it's where do you think each one of these points are?
It's weighing up cause and effect of why we could be disappointed in it.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant way of measuring whether or not, like, you know, fucking cheat skill could have been so much fucking better.
Yeah.
Anywho, right, so I think we're done with the main topic. Thank you, Thaylien, for bringing this up, because I thought it was fucking amazing. I thought it was a brilliant spin on it.
I'm glad we did this.
And
episodes, you know, maybe we'll start doing that to other. No, I'm kidding. Just start going through all our old content again.
And now it is time to move on to the supporter questions. So, Zrugel says, before we start the supporter questions, I just want to say to everyone, please subscribe and hit the like button. Wait. Everyone, please subscribe to the like button and like the subscribe button.
There you go.
I'm also trying to make sure that YouTube actually does the thing, because since we pointed it out, I've not seen it do the thing ever again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they've actually removed that, but anyway.
They might be rolling it out slowly.
Maybe everybody made so many sarcastic comments about, yes, this is what you should be putting your time into.
Actually, I think it's a case of all the ad blocking that's, anyway. Right, so Zrugel asks, what anime would you otherwise drop but will continue to watch for Strombus Shell? Don't force yourself to actually watch it. This is just for fun.
Kingdom of Ruin, I guess.
Berserk of Gluttony. Berserk of Gluttony for me. That's the one that's terrible this season for me.
I mean, I shouldn't. Well, yeah, fair. That's fair.
I mean, I am actually continuing Kingdom of Ruin.
So there you go.
Kingdoms of Ruin.
Ragnar Crimson, so.
And again, like Berserker Gluttony. Anyway, right, okay. Nasuth in Shadow asks, what anime would you otherwise watch but will drop for the right price? And what is that price?
Helk.
What?
And $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you stopped watching Helk.
No! I've been watching Helk this whole time. What?
Oh.
I genuinely, I thought, dude, I thought you had.
I did think that the history section all at once has kind of stretched on a little bit too long. But anyway, that's.
Oh my god.
I would otherwise watch Scott Pilgrim anime, but we'll drop it for $5. I was going to say, for whatever you've got in your pockets right now, couple of stray bits of gum and some pocket lint.
Okay. Konosuba, because it's getting a season 3, right? For $1 billion, right?
$1 billion.
Like I'm, because like fucking hell, you'd really have to make it worth my while not to continue watching Konosuba. Like, to never see what happens in season 3. Fuck, you'd have to. Yeah. Anyway.
Goblin Slayer season 2, and I'll pay you.
Right. Because I'm not gonna make the joke out of what Thaylien has made his name. What price would? Because I don't want to get myself in trouble.
It's not get you in trouble.
What? Shut up. What price would you rather drop than watch a good anime?
Well, I think I just said that. Actually, I'll pay you. But Goblin Slayer season 2 is not a good anime. So,
I would like to drop the price of Ending World Hunger rather than watching a good anime.
I would rather. What price would you rather drop than watching?
The price of renewable energy than watching an anime. I will totally get
I would rather drop the price of Twitter.
No, Elon did that himself when he took over. I mean, plummeted.
But let's pull this one back to last week. Rather drop the price of a Freddo.
Oh, wait, was that last week's episode, or was it?
Oh
god,
it was last week's until week before. Oh no, that was Notice Me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was
Notice Me. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. So
go watch Notice Me Senpai. It's great.
Yeah. Anyway, right, so moving on to the comments. Right, so first off, the news. Zrugal says, news! Not sure how I feel about live-action Zelda movie, but I hope it is good. I also have very, very grand reservations.
The more it's terrible it sounds.
That Shoji Izumi manga creator story was amazing. Sad, but more amazing than anything else. Because, that was the one that was like, one... So it was one manga strip a day, wasn't it?
Yes. 1500
on average
manga strips or something like that.
Those anime McDonald's commercials make me want McDonald's even more than the Western commercials. Yeah, it's true. Holy crap, I had no idea of the site formerly known as Twitter's API was so expensive. It is stupidly expensive. Yeah. Oh, that was because Sony's dropping in, yeah. In our commitment to bring users great content, we are removing content, Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Yup.
Yeah. Strombus Shell says, I'm impressed with all the fan projects going on. That's pretty awesome, yep. And now we're going to talk about the comments from last week's cast. So, Ali Al-Khatib, hello, been waiting for this. Thumbs up. Was last week
that was
the review one. Yeah, cool. Right.
So glad people are stepping in for that one.
Yep. Zrugal says, what do you think is better, the value of keeping the same standard for a long time, or assessing each new season / show of its own context, because nothing should be viewed in a vacuum? It depends. It really depends. If it's a case of you're watching something and you can't understand the context of season 3 because you've not seen season 2, then you have to review it as a whole. But if basically season 3 is constructed in such a way that you can ignore season 2, then it can be reviewed in a vacuum. Personally,
JoJo
I prefer
versus Shield Hero.
To an extent, sure. But personally, I prefer to review it as a whole. So you again, I say, is it wrong to try and pick up Girls in a Dungeon is like a must watch. It's a fucking fantastic fantasy series, but the problem is it's got 4 seasons, right? And like we're already, I was like, oh yeah, 5th season. Like it's a deterrent for a lot of people, right? I just want to be able to get into it. Yeah.
If elected to Anime Student Council, I envision a 2-tiered rating system where we have a rating for the show as a overall product, and the show rating for each season.
look you, right? I've already given you a lot of nice shit this week, right? Stop giving me more shit to do. I got my own projects that I want to do, right? I'm guessing.
Sorry.
Right, I guess I'm taking Berserk of Gluttony off my watch list. Glad I know now. Yep. If Xeno doesn't watch The Elements in Shadow, why does he know what happens?
I can't imagine why.
I literally fucking had a go at Loz and Nasuth last night about this because every fucking anime streaming session they're talking about it.
Yep. But I haven't watched it yet, so I couldn't. We just took it deadpan serious, and we're like,
right.
I haven't watched it. Can't talk about it. Yeah.
I know I said 100 girlfriends that really, really like me sounded really, really lame, but I'm glad it's good. Yeah, I'm genuinely enjoying it. Wow, a bunch of good stuff I didn't start yet. But I had the Apothecary Diaries on my list. Glad it's good. Also, surprise turnabout.
Shangri-La Frontier, by the way.
Shangri-La Frontier, right? It is. Dear God, it's so good, right? It doesn't top like I think any of the 3 that we've said are must watch this season, but it's so fucking good. right? It's easily an acquired taste 5-star, I think. You know, borderline 2-star must watch. Borderline, maybe 1-star. Anyway, right. That's it.
So, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to move us on to the memes.
Well, I was actually going to mention. So, if I understand the system right, so we didn't cover the other viewer memes last week, and while meme number 1 and 2 have been overwritten for this week, 3, 4, and 5 should still be in there. Should we show them as we go through the memes this week?
Sure.
We could.
Should we just show them off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
The buttons should still work.
All right.
I have no idea.
So
We'll find out as we go.
As usual, come from Reddit and get saved onto our website so that you guys can click through the links below to still find the memes even after the show goes live, rather than joining the Discord and seeing other people update them. And these ones we've got are from our viewer submissions. So these are from you guys, and we don't get to see these not beforehand.
Completely hidden
So-
to us.
Yeah.
Right, so our first 2 are this week. So this is meme number 1, Duracell.
Oh my god! That is fucking brilliant.
Trust it everywhere.
I got the little positive and negative symbols on the shoulders and knees. That's
amazing.
genius.
Would you say that's
Genius.
perfect?
Oh
my god, that's so perfect.
God,
That is so-
Thaylien, no. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right, our other meme this week. Oh my god.
Oh. Shit.
Right.
Did they do something to Darth Vader's face?
It
I
looks.
feel they did. I feel they did.
I think they've put a little Arg face onto him instead of the thing.
Yeah.
Right, and now for last week's. The only proper use of that scene ever.
Oh, is this the new meta? Are we just like finding videos?
New ways to burst a button.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, destroying things with bursting a button. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Number 4.
Where is he?
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
Oh my god.
And
Oh.
number 5. What? Where'd it go?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh,
it's
I
supposed
think
to
it's
loop, and it
only-
doesn't loop.
Yeah.
It's supposed to loop.
Oh
Okay,
well.
That's a shame.
I don't
That's
want to.
perfect. It's fine.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go look at it in the links from last week. Anyway, mine. Why is that not playing?
I don't know. Press it again.
遊びは遊び本気で怒っちゃやーよお
I should know that all of mine this week are videos. So on to number 2.
Kakashi! 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 Oh, Kakashi! Alright, Kakashi! Kakashi! Kika what? Kakashi! Now that's how you say it. It's the power of you! Where does he get that goofy laugh?
My
Damn,
word.
that's so wholesome.
That's incredibly wholesome. Ah, what a great costume, though.
Right.
Why is so much of this cursed?
I see.
Where the fuck did you find this?
Animemes. That
Oh
was
my
going to definitely
God.
get us demonetized, or copyright claimed.
Oh, no.
You'll never look at the Pixar logo the same way again, or Pixar lamp the same way again.
Oh my god.
Number 5.
Look at you!
Oh, I
Look
saw
at the
this.
sigmas you've become!
I haven't.
Look at how El-Riz you are! How skibbity toilet you are! You are woke among sussy soy jacks! I gave you cats in Ohio!
Yeah.
Was that I gave you gas in Ohio?
Gyats.
Gats.
Oh, right.
Don't look it up.
I wasn't going to.
Yeah, there's some
But probably
sign that it
best
shouldn't
not,
be looked
yeah.
up.
And lastly,
And I saw this.
Yep.
it just keeps going.
Good job.
It's just. It's
keep
just.
going,
It
keep
just.
going.
No.
No, go back. Go
Go
back.
back.
Don't ruin it.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, now we can change.
What is this from?
It's 100 Girlfriends.
Oh.
So basically, she's so small, she can't. She doesn't have enough strength to swing against the current, and
Right.
she's constantly spinning. And like she's trying to swim here, she's going nowhere.
That's great. That's.
So fucking wholesome. I love that series.
All right. Thaylien.
Anime character. Susan of Frieren, ranked number 13. Watch the Rock, ranked number 33. Saito Keiichiro, director, storyboard, episode director for both.
Yeah.
Someone cooked here.
Yep.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim versus The
Oh,
World.
Brilliant.
B-race of apex predators hunt down victims with ruthless brutality and efficiency. Evolve your appearance to seem to be what humans find non-threatening. Evolve vocal communication to entice humans, even if you don't know what the noises you're making mean. Bluff your way into human cities, often causing damage to the locality. Be curious about humans, but do not have the mental or emotional range to fully understand them. Work together with others of your species only when convenient to you. Your species' arrogance is often its own downfall. Be cats. Picture unrelated.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that.
Oh my god, I didn't realize. Oh my god. I didn't realize, by the way, that Shy shared so much in common with the Powerpuff Girls anime. You see them on their That was great, Thaylien. That was amazing.
Oh my god,
that
especially
may actually
after
beat all 6 of mine.
that beats all 6 of mine. Like 100%. That was fucking brilliant. Oh my god.
I've still got more, and I hope they're as good.
Okay.
Yeah. New Spy Family episode. Anya School Slice of Life episode.
Yeah.
This is Nasuth.
Yep.
And then finally one video meme to finish off.
That's a nice argument. Why don't you back it up with a source?
Source! My source is I made it the fuck up.
Oh my god. Yep.
Okay.
All right. No, it doesn't beat
All right.
Bones.
Yes.
Enough said, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yes.
The boy had a duty to fulfill.
dear.
NTR Slayer. It's time.
Oh, if only.
It's time.
How people feel when they finally catch up with all the chapters of Vagabond, Vinland Saga, and Berserk. I have attained enlightenment.
Ultra Instinct.
Yep.
Ultra Instinct.
You know, I was thinking of buying more luxurious toilets. Sorry, a more luxurious toilet seat. Google Home Siri.
Yep.
Just before we do the next one, though. Let's do this. But
Too late. Alright, and then we got Firin going around. I think that's Gintama Attack on Titan, I think. Steins Gate, and now it's knocking on Full Metal Alchemist. So basically, on the Mal rating list, Fearin is literally just below FMA.
Time for the FMA fanboys to come out in defense.
Yes.
Hey,
The thing about Google Home and Siri, if you ask directly if these things are tracking your location, they say no. But if you then say, well, where's the nearest McDonald's to me, they'll know exactly how far.
Yep.
Yup. Oh my god.
There you go, my final one.
Is that
Peter Griffith? Yeah, Peter Griffith.
Oh dear.
The guts is here.
God damn it, Xeno.
I mean, to be fair, none were as good. Yeah, but none were as good as that Powerpuff Girls.
Pillarman. Pillarman.
Man, I thought mine were top tier, and then you found that one.
Oh my god. Right, okay. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching today's episode. I put my drink somewhere, and now it's time to bottoms up and Kanpai. I'm not glugging this. I'm not.
Kanpai.